everyone, welcome to another episode of Pommyinoz. It's great to have you here. Today what we're going to do is we're just going to preview this week's fixtures. We've got a really exciting round 3 of footy. I can't wait to get stuck into it. If you are new around here, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bells on. We're trying to plough to 200 by the end of the month and we're way on the way. Thank you so much for your support. So, first game we've got is Richmond this evening, entertain Hawthorn at the MCG at 7:40, and it should be a really intriguing encounter. There's a lot of subplots in this game. I think one of the big ones for me is Dustin Martin's just been announced that he's out. How will that affect Richmond? And also Hawthorn really was shocking last round, and you genuinely look with Clarkson's side to fight back quite quickly. If we take a look at the analytical data on here, we've got 82 out of 100 for the Hawthorn, and we've got 86 rating for Richmond. We know Richmond are very good. We can see that the defence versus backline matchups, you can see 81 rated defence for Hawthorn versus an 87 for Richmond, 86 for the mid versus 84 for Richmond. Obviously you can see Mitchell and O'Meara and Warple. That really does bolster your midfield, having 3 players that can get elite numbers. And the forward line versus back line, 80 for Hawthorn versus 85 of Richmond. You can see that usually with the forward line and the back line, when there's them kind of big gaps, doesn't happen very often that they kind of break that rating rule. And for me, I think this game's going to be a real tale of the tape. It's got the exquisite ball use of Hawthorn by foot, so the more handball-friendly, exquisite ball use from Richmond. We can see here that the projected score is 84-63 in Richmond's favour. And you know what? I'd be silly because I went against it last week. I agree. I think it's going to be definitely a Richmond win here, even without Martin. I know the Hawks are capable of amazing things, but job too far. And then on Friday at 7:50, we've got the tale of 2 disappointing teams, I think. We've got the Doggies versus the Giants. And this really, I think when the fixture list was announced, was like one of them games where you'd be thinking, this is going to separate 2 sides. This is going to be a really intriguing fixture. And as the season panned out last week, these are kind of 2 teams that we've got question marks on. We can see that the Western Bulldogs, they're an 82 rated team versus the GWS 83. And you can see across the board we're fairly matched. Defence is the same, an 82 rating. 87 midfield though for the Doggies versus an 84 of the Giants. But they make up for it with their forward line, 85 versus an 82. And you can see this game is a very, very close game. We're coming out with a projection here of 68-54, so that's a 61% chance of winning for the Giants, and I think that's probably fair. I think the Giants have played the better football. It's going to be a really intriguing game though, this. I mean, if Kelly and Coggy and Cameron fire, which they haven't as yet, as long as Whitten and Whitfield, it's a tough team to beat, and I still stand by that. I think that they're going to really enjoy this game once they get into the flow of it. So I'm sticking with the Giants there. We'll go with the Giants. Up next is North versus Sydney. Now, these are 2 sides that have been really gritty last round, and that's at 1:45 on the Saturday at Marvel Stadium, or whatever it goes by now. Both sides are an 81. You can see the midfield has just been slightly tips ahead of the Sydney's midfield at North, and I think it's going to be a really, I mean, to me, I did the analytical data and we came out with 77 for North versus 61 for Sydney, and I stand by that. I think North are going to win this. Now, North, anyone who knows that, I like a little bit of a punt on a weekend. North, screw my punts. North are literally my bogey team. But I'm sticking with North. I'm going to tip the North on this one. I think it should be a great game though. I'm really excited. Cam Zerha, there's a lot of players for North that I really have my eye on. Super excited. Then we go 4:35 at MCG. Collingwood Magpies versus my wife's beloved St Kilda. For those who know me and my wife, we have a little bet on this, that St Kilda are going to finish below Carlton, and there's a foot rub on it for a year whenever she wants. And yeah, it's looking bad, eh? St Kilda were really marvellous last weekend. Bratton's really got them firing. Collingwood, obviously, it's hard to take anything out of that round. I think you can kind of give them a bye round 2. It was just kind of a matchup of defence. And if we look at it, it's an 83 rated Collingwood, and St Kilda are one of the winners of this season. They've actually gone up It's been updated after this round. They've gone up to an 82. They're right in the pack with a lot of other teams. And you can see here that Collingwood got real strong defence, real strong midfield, and a real strong forward line. The midfield is really impressing though at St Kilda. There's a lot of grit, there's a lot of determination there, and I was really impressed by that. They were really hard to the ball and really you made a game of it. You can see here projected score 71 for Collingwood versus 62 for the Saints. That makes a 62% chance of winning for the Pies. I'm going against TPI on this because I think you have to at least once a video. I'm going to back Saints in this one. I reckon Saints will get the job done. TPI says Collingwood though. That's where the smart money is. Then we go up to the nighttime fixture. So at the Gabba we've got Brisbane versus the Eagles. Now the Eagles came off the back of an absolute horrendous performance against Gold Coast. Now Gold Coast played marvellous, but West Coast just didn't fire. Brisbane, they've been a bit hit and miss and well. Really hard to get a read on Brisbane at the moment, I think. They worked very hard last week, where I thought they had more of the football in the opening term. They should have been damaging. So an intriguing matchup. So we've got an 84 rated Eagles versus an 82 of Brisbane. You can see 82 is right in the pack. A lot of players, a lot of teams are tight there. And we look at the makeup of an Eagles team. You've got an 85 defence, 88 mid and forward, and an 83 forward line going against an 83 defence, 86 midfield, and an 81 forward line. And I think this is literally what TPI is saying. It's a battle of the midfield. It's a battle of Neil versus Kelly. It's a battle of Robbo versus Shuey. It's literally who wins them battles, them little key micro battles. See here that TPI is projected 65 for the Brisbane versus 74 for the Eagles. And it's a 47 to 53% chance of winning. It's a tight game. It's tighter than a frog's bottom. And for me, I'm going to go against TPI again this one. I'm going to back the Lions in here. I think the Lions will get the job done. At TPI is giving them a bit of an injustice at the Gabba. I fancy them. Then we've got my team, the mighty Blue Baggers. Yeah, the boys up against Geelong Cats at the GMHBA Stadium, or the Spaghetti Alphabetti Stadium, or whatever it's called nowadays. And that's at 7:40. And you can see an 83 Geelong side plays against an 80 rated Carlton. God, that was hard to say. And you can see what the makeup of these sides. It's an 82 defence, an 84 midfield, and an 80 forward line for Geelong versus an 82 defence, an 83 midfield, and the forward line 79. Now, when people ask why is that, it just doesn't kick goals. There's just not enough goals in there. And you can't rate something on... The beautiful thing about maths is it doesn't give you patience. It gives you facts. And that's the cold hard truth. And that correlates a 91 projected score versus a 54. Oh, I hope TPI's wrong. And that's an 89% chance of winning versus 11%. I mean, for Carlton to do this, they're going to have to really kick ass. It's a long ground to the GMHBA. It's real advantage Cats, whoever they play, really. But when you play someone like Carlton, you've got a huge advantage. Long ground, players are going to have to play well, going to have to be really tough to the ball, really take that ball away from the magic hands of Danger, Selwood and Co. It's a tough game, but for the first time this season, and I didn't want to do this at all this season, I'm going to have to pick Geelong. I've gone against them in two other tight games, so I have to back TPI, so I can't get too far behind. Then on Sunday, 1:05, Gold Coast versus the Crows. Now this is going to be a really intriguing matchup. Can Rowell do it again? TPI, when we went through the ins and outs, we said Matt Rowell was one of the players that had to really stand out if they had a chance. And he did. And we can see a 79 Gold Coast side, 79 defence, 81 mid, 79 forward line. And that's slowly starting to rise as well. It won't be long until they're rated an 80 versus an 80 Adelaide, 81 defence, 82 mid, and 79 forward line. We can see TPI saying this is really tight. 67 playing 63. 49% win chance for Gold Coast versus 51. It's a really tight game. And it's going to be tough because when I saw Adelaide, they just crumbled like butter. And TPI is seeing that as well. They have to step up. Will they have two bad games in a row? It's hard to say because Nix is a new coach. So you just don't know how he responds. We've got no data to see what he does when they get a flogging. But for me, when you're not up for it against your rivals, you've got serious issues in a playing group. So it's a big one there. TPI's back in Adelaide. I'm going to back Gold Coast because I've got a soft spot for Gold Coast. I've got to say, got a huge soft spot for Gold Coast, so I'm backing Gold Coast in on that one. And then we've got Essendon Bombers versus the Demons, and that's at 3:35 at the MCG. The team that beat us versus the team that I hate the most. And you can see an 82 team for both ratings, 83 defence, 86 mid and an 80 forward line for Melbourne versus an 81, an 84 and an 81 for Essendon. Now for me, when I looked at this fixture at the start of the week, before I did the data, I was like Essendon all the way. And TPI backs me. I think Melbourne are a very weak outfit, and I think that they got away with murder against us, and it was just because we were so poor. So I'm backing Essendon as well. You can see 74 plays 55. It's a big margin. 64% win chance for Essendon. I think the Bombers are going to get it done. They did impress me against Sydney. It was grit and determination, hunger, a will to win. Hey Carlton, will to win. So, I mean, it's interesting. They've got us next. So, like, for me, I hope they win because that'll be, 3-0. They'll be high and just maybe take their eye off the ball because I don't want to lose to them. And then the final game of the week is Fremantle versus Port. Now, this is a really good game at the Metricon. Freo versus Port is always traditionally quite a tight fixture between the two sides. And we can see it's an 80 Fremantle versus an 82 Port. Now, Port are flying. They're probably one of the teams of the comp with Geelong. They've played some really beautiful football. Look at Port's makeup. 83, 83, 82. They've got talent across the line versus 79 defence, 81 midfield and 82 forward line. TPI is saying it's 86 plays 67 against Port, and it's a 74% win chance. I'm backing Port in all the way here as well. They're my tips, guys. Please let me know what you think. Who's going to win? Who you're looking forward to? What games are you looking for? There will be a live stream coming up this week. I'm going to cover one of the games, probably the Carlton-Geelong game. Let me know what you guys think. See you soon. Thanks so much for the support. Have a great week. Pom out.